Hello, everybody. Welcome. Thanks, Denny, for chewing us into this video. Welcome to
Hey,
another list review, this time of Side by Side with a Friend. And what an event it's going to be, and what a video this is going to be. We have just spent the last couple of hours, genuinely, honest to God, waiting for the last list to be submitted. I won't comment on whose list it was.
you got
Um,
to get those in, people. That
You got
was
it's
Yeah,
really it's incredibly hurtful to me personally when people waste my time like that. But that's okay. We'll move on. We'll move on. It's going to be a great review. It's going to be a great event. We're all looking forward to it. I'm here today with George. Say hi, George.
what's up, guys?
That wasn't hi, but that's all right. It's okay. And Donovan Anderson. Say hello, Donovan.
hello, Jonathan.
Nice, good. It's much better. See, that's what
He's
we're
a,
looking for
he's a
from
bit
you,
more
George.
experienced than me,
He's a veteran broadcaster.
He's a veteran right now.
He's a veteran broadcaster.
A
So anyway,
face for radio, people.
face for radio. And a voice for radio. We are going to review Side by Side with a Friend. Let's move on to what the actual event is for those of you who are unfamiliar, which I imagine is none of you because it's such an iconic event. So it'll be in Christchurch on the 12th and 13th of August. Over 2 days, there'll be 6 games, your classic Swiss tournament format.
In Christchurch.
In Christchurch. Yeah, I don't know if that was mentioned before earlier.
It's
It'll be
just not in Switzerland. Don't worry.
right. Thank you. This is really helping, Denny. There's that personality for radio as well. 800-point doubles. There will be 12 pairs attending for a total of 24 players. Each army's got to be limited to 2 factions, asterisk, with all the usual alliance rules and standard list building and stuff applies. So I think we're using mostly double scenarios, a couple of which are slightly tweaked for extra fun and thrills at the event.
He's also worth clarifying 2 400-point lists, not 2 800 points. A total of 800 points.
Yes, that's worth clarifying. Thank you. Thank you for that, George. It's true. 800 points in total, 400.
Do we know what the 6 games are?
We'll
Nope.
never clue.
Could
Okay,
never.
cool.
Would
I
never
think that's,
clue.
I think that's part of the fun of going to a doubles event. You just have no clue what the hell these scenarios are going to be.
It's going to be so much fun. You just write a list that can do everything, which is I'm sure is what all our players have done. So without any further ado, we're going to crack right into this little listicle review with
Here it comes.
what's it?
Here it comes.
Here it comes. The Minsters of Moria. I've tried to give these all little wee titles.
Great.
You love it, yeah. All right.
Oh, was this your name, Sam?
Oh, you better believe it. There's a couple of people that hand their own names in, but I have all the good ones in mine. The Minsters of Moria. So we've got Groblog leading 6 goblin shields, 6 goblin spears. A goblin captain with a shield as well, leading 5 goblins with shield and spears and 4 goblins with shields. And then the Watcher in the water for a little bit of tentacle action. Next we have in the other half.
Right?
Yeah, you love it. The other half is Durburs, leading 6 goblins with spear. Sorry, 7 with spear and 6 with shield. A goblin shaman leading 5 prowlers for a little sneaky bit of extra damage there.
Prowlers.
I know,
Oh, prowlers.
I know. The good old days. Assault on Lothlorien,
Yeah.
RIP in pieces. And finally, a cave drake leading, a bat swarm. Hence the monsters, the monsters. So we've got
You've got
46
that. It's
models in
good.
total. 11 might. I just clarifying for those at home, Denny.
Also, the mine being, the
The
mines
mine.
of.
Yeah,
It's
I
good.
didn't get that.
Yeah,
It's
you
quite
got
good.
that. It's good.
46 models, 11 might, 5 plus D6 shots, thanks to that crazy Watcher in the Water madness, and 2 monsters, if you don't include the bat swarm, which I don't. So, what do you reckon, folks?
I'm just finally stoked we're going to see Cave Drake. It's one of the coolest fucking models in the
It's
game.
really
It
cool.
looks amazing. Its profile is awesome. I've just never seen one actually in the game, but I love it so much.
There were 2 at Deso, or 1 at Deso, and 2 at Southcon. I want to say I've seen
There's one
more in
at
the last couple of months than in my entire life.
Gov ran one at Deso, and there was one at
It's going for a
Southcon.
wee resurgence.
Yeah. It's the meta right now. Have you not for this past you by, George?
Yeah.
Cave Drake meta? Is that not crossed your desk somehow? You're in
I
for a
feel
rude
like,
awakening, my son.
Cave Drake's been one of those models, even though it's been out for I don't even want to know how long now, probably like 10 years. It still feels like a new profile to me.
Yeah, I know what you mean. You just don't see
Yeah,
them.
like it just, yeah, you just don't see it. Well, apparently you do recently, but to me, it feels like a new profile. I'm excited.
I mean, it's cool, but the Watcher is cooler.
The Watcher is cooler. The Watcher and the Watcher Bat Swarm combo. That's a classic right there.
Yeah.
The thing which
Right, good
excites me
night.
about the Watcher is just what people actually do with the model. Like,
Yes.
because the actual base model is kind of pants, I'm not gonna lie.
It's a
But there's
3-inch
like
move.
so much.
something
Or
like that.
no, as in just like the actual physical model. Like the way you can model it is really what makes it cool, right?
That's true. That's true. And I also do like seeing the strats and the like you say, Jenny, with the 3-inch move. I do like seeing what people actually do with it on the table as well. It's always a
Yeah,
always a
if they
little
just like
distraction.
completely dislodge your opponent, or they
Yeah,
just stay behind behind your own lines and just
If they have
tentacle in
like
and
the
out.
self control not to just like pop up
Yeah,
turn one,
yeah,
just to be annoying and the oh there was a mistake, because now it's surrounded. But
yeah.
I'm probably going to do it again next game because that looks really fun.
It's such a cool model, such a different model, such an exciting model. Anytime I see one, I'm like, yeah, that
Yeah.
ticks my boxes. That tickles my pickle. And to be
no.
able to squeeze another 45 odd goblins around it as well is not a small matter. So
Gonna say it's pretty tight, the list. Like Grobog and Dubas are all good model count. Got the Fury answer, the Terra answer with the Shaman, got the March with the Captain, and two cool monsters to have fun with.
two very cool monsters to fun with. It's
Sounds
gonna
like
be
a great weekend.
I really like how symmetrical the two lists are
yes
as
I was gonna say
well.
that.
You know, like it
Yeah,
both
it doesn't
guys are
look
gonna
like
have
it was
fun.
drafted the last second.
Yeah, exactly.
Both players are gonna have fun with this. They got both got good times to have, so that will be
Yeah, a couple of
something to
monsters.
satisfy everyone.
Like it.
Yeah.
Cool list.
Cool list. This gets the cool list thumbs up seal of approval right here. Very cool. All right.
And yeah,
What's that?
no, I was just gonna go. You could have gone with a doubles listing name for it, like what's yours is mine. But you went for monsters, which is better. Don't worry.
I mean, if you'd been
Next list.
here to help Jenny, maybe we could have done that. But
I'm glad we went back for Jenny to say that joke.
yeah, it was really well worth it. Let's not fight for other children, Jenny. Let's save it for a fight.
We'll edit that in post.
No, we won't. This is going up. One take, baby. Let's go. All right. This one's been titled Swoledrid's Guard. Another
Did this come titled or is this you?
Swoledrid's Guard. No, this
Is
is
Aiden coming to
100%
this
me.
tournament?
100% me. Huge. Huge, enormous. So we've got Theodred. You'll see why in a moment. Theodred, horse, shield, throwing spear, 4 Royal Guard with horse and throwing spear, and 1 Royal Guard with horse and a banner. We've got Captain Arohan with a horse, shield, heavy armor, throwing spears, leading 6 Helmingas with bows and throwing spears, 3 Helmingas with shield and throwing spears, a Royal Guard with a horse, and a throwing spear. And the other
Why did you
half,
say
that's
Helmingus?
only
So
half. Yeah, I know what people like. It's only half the army, folks. We've still got the other half to go. Elf Helm on a horse, leading. I'm gonna move that to the other side there. Leading 5 Helmingas with shield and throwing spears, 3 Helmingas with bow and throwing spear, 2 Royal Guard with throwing spears, and 1 Royal Guard with horse and throwing spear. And then finally, Grimbold of Grimslade, leading 6 Helmingas with shield and throwing spear, 5 Helmingas with bow and throwing spear, and 1 Helminga with banner and throwing spears. For a grand total of, oh shit, get that out in post. For a grand total of 43 models, 11 might, 14 bows, and 40 throwing spears. 4-0. There are, I had to go back and double check on this. There are 3 models in this army that have been forgotten to show up with their throwing spears. For shame. For shame
I
on those
believe
3 models.
those 3 models are like the 2 eyes and the mouth of the hedgehog.
Nice.
I believe this list was labeled hedgehog meta to me originally.
I mean, it's certainly spiky. 42 models, 11 might, 14 bows, 40 throwing spears, 11 cavalry. What a horrifying prospect. He's the Swoledrid's Guard, that was strength 4.
Gee, God, it's like one of those weird optical illusions where things everything's just blurging together in the middle because it all is so intense.
This once again proves my rule that the more complicated the list is to read, the better it must be. It's my yardstick. And this one's tough to read. It was tough to write. Must be good. Must be good.
How many 43 models are even like 14 bows?
I'm very
14 bows and 14 throwing. Who the hell puts throwing spears on bows?
I'm impressed with someone who's got more ranged weapons and models. That's always I'm always impressed.
A man who has met the model cap for his army and has additional points. Because how awkward was it making 2 400-point lists?
That's the key.
Like
every single year I fall into the trap of making 800 lists and then just adding divide by 2. I'm like, well, hold on, this doesn't work. Like,
it's strong. It's good.
Terrifying. Yeah.
So much strength 4 as well.
It's gonna hit like a bus, man. I mean, in fairness, There is also a lot of Fight 4 and a lot of D5, but or less. But you know, that there are a couple of turns of throwing spears coming at you.
If you just sort of manage to stay out of an 8-inch range of it
Yeah,
for the whole game and just
Easy.
never at any point into 8 inches.
only 14 other bows to worry about. So
They
it's
could
really
just
not.
could just march up and throw anyway. But I hope they go every single throwing weapon and every single bow with an individual dice roll. Yeah, just
That-
really, really make those turns take as long as
With
they possibly can.
like a massive amount of gusto and excitement
Yeah.
for every single roll.
That's the beauty of a two-player. I guess you have to be rolling. You're both rolling at the same time. You're gonna have to split these in half and just.
I was going to
do
say
them
it's
all at
because
once.
it's time to go down to the pub, George. Come back
I'm gonna
up still
send you
halfway to
down
the
to the
shooting
pub.
place. Yeah.
Yeah, just let us know how many you killed and you're just having nothing's left.
And as long as you're rolling dice, you're having fun, right?
And the beauty
Is
of it,
it-
will still outshoot a lot of lists, even at the 24 inches, let alone at the 8 inches.
As an absolute Theodred Scarred fanboy, I genuinely do love this though. This is what you like to see. A Theodred Scarred not mounted. It's just cream of the crop.
Should have ran this.
It's Intrepid. The Heavy Helmingas is a not a style I've seen before, but poor. See how she goes.
How many is it? Are the bows outriders? No, they're not, right? Because
No,
you want to get the throwing spears on them. That's I guess I mean that's an interesting decision, right? Not to go for outriders, which would
yeah, it's a
probably
4+
be the
bows, isn't it? Yeah, I
And
mean,
what
this
have you
thing
got here?
is
3, 6, 9, 11 points of might. You're going to be calling moves all the time, so I can
I mean,
see the argument for it.
well, as in just not going outriders, you make your 24-inch range shooting a lot worse because you're hitting on 4s instead of
Mm.
3s, but obviously you're adding an extra.
Maybe they're just
throwing
lovely
weapons or whatever it is.
opponents, George, that went, you know what, we don't have the Outrider models, so we won't run
No,
them.
I think they're the opposite of lovely opponents and just wanted more throwing weapons. I'm sure they're lovely opponents.
For all that the messing them on throwing weapons is an issue, though. I mean, I do look at it, and there is a lot of Fight 3, D4, and 5 people holding on to these throwing spears. You know, it's not exactly. It's going to have to do a lot of damage with those throwing spears, and it will, God knows. But once you actually get into the crunch with it, you know, not super resilient.
I like how you've told the captain of Rohan has a hammer. That's quite good.
Farmer. Well, you know, I didn't know how. I had a lot of time to go back and edit this all the stuff, George. So I was happy to make those kinds of tweaks after that. What do you think? Do we like it? Do we love it? Do we hate it? Are we jealous? Do we wish we were playing it?
It's Phaedra's Guard.
Ah.
I love it. It's the coolest list in the game. And I wish it was me playing this list. This looks like a lot of fun.
This is the only Theodred's Guard that would convince me to try and play it. This is the only kind of. Otherwise, what a snore. But this seems cool. This seems like fun.
I'm really interested in how the Outriders versus normal bows with throwing weapons go.
Hopefully, someone's brought Outriders and we can find out. Speaking of which, we got the next list. Theodred's Outriders. No, I'm kidding. This is a very different style of list. This is might. I've called this one "Might Makes Right," and you'll see why shortly. So we have gambling on a horse with the royal standard, bit of might there, leading 12 royal guard with throwing spears. No mention of horses here, just on foot. Then Durnhelm leading 2 royal guard with horses and Haleth. On the other half, we have Elisar on an armored horse, 6 warriors of Minas Tirith with shield and spear, 5 fountain courts with shield, and an Avenger bolt thrower. That's 32 models. Trifling. You laugh, you say, hilarious. 11 might with 2 asterisks there because it's 11 plus 2 per turn. A D6 shots and 5 cavalry. Might makes right.
I think the person who's taking Elisar armored horse with fountain court and Avenger bolt thrower may as well just put their name on the list. It's become such a staple of their repertoire. And my God, they're good with it. And their bolt thrower does absolute miracles every time. I guess the thing to talk about here, right, is the Haleth Elisar and how that works. Like the fact that does work bothers me, but
yeah, it feels like it shouldn't. I looked it up when I heard
feels like it shouldn't.
Yeah, but it does.
So don't get caught out by that one, guys. He makes Elisar fight 7, right?
Yeah, and the Royal Guard and whatnot be fight 5.
However, saying that, it is a cool take. Like, I'm very much at the point of the game now where I'm liking people come up with cool combinations.
This is
and
a really
is
cool combination. This is not something I've seen
Like,
before. Yeah,
it's very outside the box. It is cool.
it's impressive. It is really cool. I'm stoked that people can still come up with new things.
And it also does like a good job of epitomizing 2 400-point lists, right? Like, you're both taking 400-point lists that bring someone within together to actually come up with this weird and wacky thing. So that's pretty cool.
Fundamentally, I see 11 plus 2 might per turn. It's gonna solve a lot of problems. The fight 7 LSR with 2 free points of might every turn. That's gonna tick a lot of boxes there.
I just think if you wanted 2 free points of might a turn, just take Hammerhead. It's a lot easier to get it, isn't it? There's an easier way to do this.
That's true, but it's not as cool, is it? Hell,
Yeah.
Right.
You are kind of awkwardly doubling up on banners a little bit though. Like, you're taking LSR and then also a
That's
normal
true.
banner.
That is very true.
That does make things a little clunky.
I mean, I don't know what the scenarios are, and I can't remember what they do, but I feel like this is going to kind of, castle and death ball very, very well. Just trying to think how it's going to play if you're on 2 different sides trying to get to each other.
Yes.
I mean, you've got the march on both sides, so that's cool. But can each of these go toe to toe with an opponent's 400-point one? Be interesting.
Wildfire helps out a lot, doesn't it?
It does, yeah.
Yeah.
No, I like it. It's cool.
It's good fun. Really good fun. I'm impressed at the ingenuity of it is cool.
Yeah, it's cool. If you do like death ball together, you can chuck the 12 Royal Guards with T-Spears up front. And I like that they're given shields and spears to the Warriors of Minas Tirith, because that just gives you a little bit more variation if you are death balling a bit. I don't know. It's cool.
Might makes right, folks. If in doubt, +1 that dice roll, baby. That'll sort it. That'll hook you up. All right. Bold and brash is by the only way I could describe this little listicle here.
That's because it belongs. What?
No, because it is, well, maybe, but because it's bold, it's certainly bold and brash. So we have Sauron
sweatpants,
allied with the Mumak War Leader.
So can I before you start? One thing we should have said up front is that Christchurch is notoriously known for having a ridiculous amount of terrain on its boards, unless you're playing on that one desert board which has got nothing. So I love that someone's bought the Mumak War Leader,
Right,
and I hope that Justy has a great time TOing all those questions for the weekend.
How many structure points does this have? Every single piece of terrain on every table needs structure points now, Justin. You have been warned. That is a critical part of the Mumak meta.
I really like that. I always tell people when someone asks me, like, what's the Christchurch meta, or like you kind of there isn't really one. You go to tournament, you always know there's going to be a Mumak or a Sauron. This person's just not being nice and ticked off both on the one list for me.
They've sorted us out. That saves anyone else having to do it.
Yeah.
Really good work.
You know, how many points is it? Does it fall short?
400 each.
It's 400 each.
Are they exactly 400? Oh,
yep, just like that. It's the most efficient list probably that's come into this tournament. I think it's fair to say.
Painting wise, Sauron. Yeah.
They've abused the fact that Justin's not put on that 2007 rule of you must take a minimum of 3 models or something.
Yeah, that's true. Actually, the only players pack without that rule, and here we are. Yeah. This is what we get. That's going straight back in all my players packs.
Randomly, this is a green alliance, isn't it?
No, Sauron's Barad-dûr.
No, not Barad-dûr.
Is it Barad-dûr?
Yeah. She's red burgers.
What do you lose?
The boasting of that it's a green alliance.
Are there any relevant army bonus rules?
No, it's not any bonuses, but the fact that you can't heroic with each other and interact like that is possibly a hassle.
So you can't be accused of a cheesy wargamer.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Power gaming away to the top rather than playing
balance
skill.
Such a powerful combo. Yeah. What do we say? What do we say? It's crickets. I'm hearing crickets. It's Sauron.
Well, my one question is, what actually is on a Mumak War Leader? Does that include 12 dudes in
No.
or is it
No. It is the Howdah is empty.
Does it have rocks or anything with it? No.
It might, but no one can throw them. Who cares?
Is there any way of getting Sauron up onto the Mumak?
We've had
I think
Sheila
they
up on top of the
FAQ'd that,
mimic
didn't
before.
they? I think they actually did. You can't jump back into the
Nothing
house.
can get in once they didn't start
Yeah.
yet, can it? Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
What about if
think
it deploys there?
I don't.
No.
Justin, enjoy. If you've decided to put Sauron up on the mummic, I want to see what your matchup is. That's made you decide that.
The chill souls, man. I'm keen to see the mimic rampage into Sauron. That's the way I want to see Sauron go down right there. Whack.
I mean, the one thing I
The
want
funny thing-
this team about is I don't know about you, but whenever I see a mummic getting played, there's at least one game every tournament where they come up against the King of the Dead. I don't know what it is, just something happens in the spreadsheet with the matchups or whatever, but whenever there's a mummic at a tournament, always comes up against the King of the Dead in one game. So enjoy that.
So
I've
someone
actually
in the very
coded a wee line into the spreadsheet that every time there is a mimic, it's paired with the King of the Dead.
it was only a few moments ago that someone said something about a Morgul blade and whether they
Yeah.
should or shouldn't take it. I bet they feel like an idiot now.
Yeah, George. No,
What
no
an
chance.
opportunity. What an opportunity. All
I
right.
feel like such an idiot not tailoring our list is bold and brash. God, how silly of me.
2 models, 6 might, no shooting, 2 monsters.
You do have to kill one of them to break it again.
You do have to kill one of them to break it. It's going to be fun either way, I think, folks. For this people playing this anyway, not for their opponents, but for people playing this. All right, it's bold and brash. I won't comment on where it belongs.
Oh,
Next,
see, that's cool, George. We should have taken this.
this is
Sorry.
an actual cool list. Yeah. Unlike what
Yeah, no,
certain
this is
people report.
cool.
Old school Rivendell, Glorfindel with Aspharoth and Heavy Armor, leading 3 Riv Knights with Shield, 2 Elves with Shield, and 1 Elf with Shield Spear. Then we've got Curden, I don't care. With 3, correct me in the comments. Do it, I don't care. I'm not worried. This is
Or
for
the
free.
Sommets, if you're.
The Sommets. I'm gonna need a moment. 3 High Elves with Bow, 2 High Elves with Shield.
Stop laughing at your own joke, Denny.
It's that funny. It's good.
And the second half, Elrond, Horse, Heavy Armor, 5 High Elves with Shield and Spear, 4 High Elves with Bow, 2 High Elves with Shield, 2 Riv Knights with Shield, and 1 Riv Knight with Shield, and there's a banner behind there as well. 28 models, 7 Might, 13 Bows, 8 Cavalry.
He's been thinking about it the whole time.
I've been waiting the whole time for that. I was like, I was scared through. Where are the C's? Right,
Yeah.
I'm in the perfect position for it. Yeah,
I
I'm
really
good
wish
to go.
we next time can we get like a picture of all the 12 teams and then like take all the lists and do like one of those diagrams you
That
can
would
match
be
the
really
list with the
thinking
people.
this, yeah.
That's
I
really
reckon I'm 12 from 12 list. I reckon my money's on who I've got this on.
you caught me out. It's me. I mean, I just think this is actually.
I just think it's neat.
I think this might be the first list. No offense to everyone else. Some offense to everyone else. The first list of Sense of that I actually think respect, old school. This is
Yeah.
just like a solid, sensible, cool list. You know, no one's trying to be crazy. Not trying to be zany and out there and play these weird cave drakes or like, try these Helmingus. You know, it's just this is
Yeah,
just
I used to
sensible.
run it,
Sensible is the right
they
word,
changed
isn't it?
what it was.
yeah, too right. This is old school. It's old school Rivendell.
Sensible.
It's sensible. It's a solid, sensible, centrist list for election year. Is what this is. This is not gonna scare the middle classes. You know, this one's approachable.
How many-
The median
is it
voter
six?
is in favour of
I
this.
can
Is
see
it
myself
6
having a beer with Kieran. Yeah.
Is it 6 cats?
It is 8 in total. So
It's a
yes,
lot more
yes,
Cav, yeah.
6
Yeah,
warriors and 2 heroes. Yeah,
13 bows is nothing.
that's the thing. 13 both done this knees at
Mm.
because those
Mind
Rift
you,
Knights don't
with-
count.
With the army bonus as well.
Yeah, only bonus.
We've been talking about like each list is like 13, 14 bows. That's pretty good. But every list, when they take 13, 14 bows, that just becomes a new normal, right? Like,
That's true.
All right, can we just address? Well, I could have used my elephant in the room joke last list, but I didn't. But let's just, if you're the Phaedra player, do you still even engage and walk up to this list, or do you just shoot through the blinding light with your 40? Who wins that shooting war?
40
we'll
throwing
let them,
speed
we'll let
It's
them
40
decide.
throwing weapons, yeah.
versus the 13 elf bows against the
With
D5
Caridan.
or D4 Rohan. This thing guns it down. I think this thing.
There's a reason one's called sensible,
Knocks it
Denny.
out. Yeah, through a blinding light, this thing chops that up in shooting.
I guess one thing to note is and it's always sort of been a struggle for Rivendell is particularly Gryffindor and Elrond don't have too many of those to wound bonuses coming through at all. So
Yeah.
if this runs into any sort of D7 or those bigger heroes, they actually do struggle to wound things. Like it's very slow at dying and it has that output and damage with the bows and the heroes against the troops. But anything D7 or above, and you're in trouble with those heroes a little bit. Those trying to find sixes to wound is just awful. But I mean, as we throw the curtain Enchanted Blades in there, right?
All those
If
Riv
you
Knights,
remember it,
baby.
yeah.
If you remember it, nice.
Yeah.
Throwback.
The Lance is going to help you out a lot.
Yeah, Lances can tick a lot of boxes there.
That's good. It's sensible.
Sensible, a solid, sensible, reliable list. This is the kind of thing you expect from a Cantab, you know? This is a mainlander list.
Stout. A stout Cantab
is
list.
A stout, stoic list, and I think I'd have a great time playing this, honestly. I just love elves. All right, another seamless transition from the boys at and they call it a mine. So for those of you at home watching, thinking, gosh, that
George got more handsome.
That George, he's certainly lost a bit of weight and got a bit thin on top. Well, what's actually happening here is we've replaced him with Guy because half of our initial recording was corrupted, so we're having to
because of
re-record it.
George.
Because of George.
Thanks.
Because of
It's
George's
good to be here, even if I'm a Propecia aftershock of George. You know.
Oh, someone's been practicing words.
That's really good. I didn't tell him I was going to do that intro. That's off the top of the free
Yeah, it's off the cuff.
Okay,
Yeah.
cool. That's
Yeah.
take three. We use take three. That was excellent.
Anyway, so seamless transition once again, as you come to expect from us. We're here at the regular Army of the South, the not so grand version. So this is Suladan with an armored horse, leading 5 Serpent Riders, 5 Harrod Bowmen, 4 Harrod Bowmen with spears, and 3 Fabricant Guard. And a Mahud King on a camel with a shield and a war spear, leading 2 Mahud Raiders war spears. The other half of the list is a Harrod King with a horse armor war spear, 9 Harrods with warriors with spears, 2 Serpent Riders and 2 Fabricans, and then the Betrayer on his little feet, leading 4 Harrod warriors with bow. 50 models, 9 points of might, 23 bows, and 12 horses/camels.
Right. I think as we go forward through every list now, we have to ask ourselves the opening question. If you're the Peter Dunn of all lists, are you happy, still happy with your Rivendell list? And I think the answer is 100% yes. Blinding Light, thank you very much.
Blinding Light is going to carry the day, I think, throughout this tournament day. It's
sensible.
It's a sensible, reliable, centrist list for the people. But briefly to talk about the actual list in front of us, if I may.
Can I just come in and say I'm blown away with the 50 models. I think
That's
I was looking at
incredible,
I was like 12 cavalry. Have they invested too heavily? Too heavily, not too heavenly rather. Too heavily in cavalry. You know, it can be quite hard to get 12 cavalry bases actually, you know, and doing the damage, but it's not like they've sacrificed the model count.
No.
And I do wonder if there is sportsmanship scores, if they should hand some of the troops over to Bold and Brash, just to get a few hurrah in the Mummic.
That's the solution there, eh? They've got plenty of spare bows. They might as well chuck half a dozen away. They won't even notice. The 23 re-rolling shots is going to be just a horror story against anyone who doesn't have Blinding Light. So somehow they've ticked all the boxes in terms of 50 models, 12 cav with lancers. It's still got 23 re-rollable bows and a couple of pretty solid heroes to do some damage as well.
Oh,
she's nice.
Even the old camels, just so nice.
Oh yeah, God, yeah,
Impact
camels
hits.
fantastic.
It's
Strength 4 lance.
These 2 players are going to have a wonderful weekend.
A genuinely great time. And that's the thing. I've said it before. I'll say it again. The beauty of Harrod, whether you're winning or you're losing, things are happening. Dice are being rolled. Stuff's dying. You know, you're having a good time. It's adrenaline.
Absolutely. I mean, I've actually got like 3 decent heroes, don't they? You can put out the damage.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
If I had to make one negative comment, it would be that there is no force on Earth that would make me take the Betrayer without a horse. Just you can afford to drop a Fabricant Guard or a bow. Just
That's a point. I missed that. So the 12 cavalry doesn't include the Betrayer, obviously.
no. Yeah, no. You know, that's a no-brainer.
If you want to be picky, the OCD part of my brain is going, Betrayer needs a bigger base size, but also take 15 Harads with bow, like on that side of the army list, even if it means just dropping a Serpent Rider or something. Just try and
Yeah,
out that bow
I
limit as
think we're
much as he can.
having to dig pretty deep and look pretty hard to criticize it, aren't we?
Oh,
If
exactly.
we're getting
Yeah.
to that point,
These are-
yeah,
these
it's
are
obviously
tweaks.
just a solid list. Yeah,
These are tweaks. We want you to have 13 cavalry and 24 bows rather than only 23 and 12.
yeah, right.
We're not
Yeah.
talking about major stresses here.
Yeah,
It's going to be fun for, I think, both sides, because there's nothing better than shooting down Herod and feeling like you're doing something as well, even when you're losing the game. So kudos to these players. Next up, we have Defenders of Helmix, the remix. Oh, yeah. So this is Theoden with heavy armor and shield, leading 4 Galathrim somehow, with 4 elf bows and spears, and 4 Rohan warriors with shield. Then we've got Gambling with his royal standard, leading 3 warriors of Rohan with shield and 3 warriors of Rohan with shield and throwing spears. And then Haldir, mighty Haldir, that beautiful one-drop hero with heavy armor and an elf bow. On the other side, we've got Gimli leading 4 warriors of Rohan with shield and throwing spear, 3 warriors with shield, and 3 Galathrim with elf bow and shield. And then, elf bow and spear, I should say. Then Legolas leading 5 warriors of Rohan with shield, 4 Galathrim with elf bow and spear, and 2 warriors of Rohan with shield and throwing spear. For a mere 40 models, 15 might and 3 bows, 13 bows.
Just thinking, I actually saw Peter Dunn the other day walking around Kandala. He's still got the mustache. It doesn't really look that much like Carradine, but I think there are similarities. So you're left once again asking yourself, if I'm the sensible centralist Rivendellist, am I happy right now? And the answer is yes.
Once again, Blinding Light is just taking this entire tournament.
Who would have thought it?
Who would have thought that Blinding Light was meta? I mean, you've got what's
it's a shock.
Sorry,
Yeah,
it's a shock. 13 elf bows,
I'd,
18 shots or something, and some throwing spears as well. Sorry, go on, guy.
yeah, I'd like to either see like a child added to this list or maybe another old man just for a bit of a flavor. You know what I mean? But no, I mean seriously. Other than that, it seems pretty solid, doesn't it? I mean,
and it's a peculiar way to when you say old man, do you mean like an 80-year-old man that doesn't look 80? Are you saying that Aragorn should have been in the list?
Just old enough to not be able to hold a bowstring back properly, I guess, for an extended period of time.
Mighty Eldor, essential, critical part of the Defenders of Helm's Deep list. That's why I've called it the remix, because I think it is quite interesting that you've got no Haleth and no Aragorn.
No, I just think you would want one of them just to capitalize on the gambling with royal standard. But other than that, I mean, yeah, you can't. You've got a lot of good heroes there, don't you? I mean, really, Gimli and Legolas with each other.
I mean, the fight buff from the kid, what does that give? It gives Rohan essentially like Rohan Royal Guard fight 5, but you've already got the fight 5.
Yes.
With the spears here from the
elves.
I
suppose it's a different way to spread it out, isn't it? But I mean, I guess it's just the 3 point of might with it having to exhaust one of your Rohan heroes.
Yeah.
Beforehand.
But yes, I guess like you say, without Aragorn and with all those Galathrim spears, you have kind of somewhat reduced the need a little bit. Oh shivers, reduced the need a little bit for the Haleth. So fair play for trying to do something different. But I do agree that the optimum strat, he's just such a nice drop, such a nice drop. But of course, he's replaced by the other H, the other powerful H in this list, Haldir instead.
15 might. Does 15 might seem like a lot to anyone else?
It seems like a lot. 15 might with the royal standard.
With the asterisks,
Yeah, right.
That is a lot. That is a lot to drop. And 40 models, they haven't even skipped. You know what I mean? You've got all these elves, these heroes, all this might, all the shooting. Still got 40 models though.
So all their bows are elf bows, and they've still got they got throwing weapons everywhere. It's going to have
spears.
A decent, it's going to be
enough
really good.
D5.
Decent punch. Would you
make Leggy or Gimli here on the other side? I'm just trying to remember what the scenarios are. There is that like contest of champions kind of one, isn't there?
I think you want the Gimli, don't you? Yeah, no.
Well, just in terms of not taking wounds as often.
Yeah, not taking. But I think because there is that contest of champions one.
Legolas, you don't have to put in harm's way. You just have him out the back,
That's true, but like I said, in the contest, you don't want to really
right. That's what I'm saying. Is that he's got Gimli as his leader for the secondary army. Yep. Would you rather have Legolas? Yeah,
I think Gimli seems like a good pick to me. Then you can throw Legolas in those fights and not worry about him,
Yeah, exactly.
Legolas can just be cutting his way through troops like he does, Combat powerhouse. Very cool. Good fun. That was a joke. Sorry, people at home. No one laughed, so I assumed you thought it was serious. But it was
a furious comment section. Yeah.
Actually. Legolas is no good enough, right? That's true. Right.
He does have
Next.
a bow.
He has 3 shots too. This one here, late as usual. Pirate scum. So this is a mighty Corsair and Harrod alliance. We've got Delamere leading 8 Corsairs with shield and spear, 5 Black Numenorians, and 4 Arbalestas. And then a Corsair captain with a crossbow leading 6 Corsairs with shield and 5 Arbalestas. On the other side, we have Suladar with armored horse and bow, 4 Abracans, 4 Harrod bows, 3 Harrod bows and spears, 2 Serpent Riders and 1 Serpent Guard, and then a Harrod King with a horse, a war spear, and a bow, 3 Fabricans, 3 Harrod bow spears, 2 Harrod bows, and 1 Serpent Rider. A mere 55 models with 9 might, a tiny little 16 throwing weapons, and 23 bows. No big deal, really.
If you are the centralist Rivendell party, are you once again feeling happy with your decision to date Blinding Light? Maybe.
Curtin is going to be the MVP this event.
Have you just been saving all the high model count armies for the end for me, or is this a theme throughout the whole?
Oh, don't worry. The last list you see will be the opposite end of the spectrum.
This is outrageous.
It's an enormous amount of people there. Yeah. I think this
Luckily,
is the
there's like twice
count.
as many people to move them around the board.
Yeah, it would be genuinely unpleasant otherwise.
I reckon the person that's drafted this list is incredibly intelligent by Sam's definition of intelligence, because look at those warbands. That is niche. That is a lot of random war gear splattered throughout. Not
More
6 shield, 6 spear.
Yeah. I mean, as I'm playing the simple side of this, the Delamere and Captain side, the straightforward side, whereas my partner, the big brain fella that he is going to be joining me for the complicated Harrod side. So I'm just going to work forwards and die.
Whose is this? Sorry, is this
me?
Is this your list?
Me and Liam. Yep.
Oh wow.
I know.
I assumed like the late as usual was like a dig, like maybe you got the list in too late for the review or something.
Don't.
We'll talk about that. Don't you worry, guys. We'll get to that.
Surely negative points at the actual tournament itself.
Oh, that would be my desire. It's certainly what I've been lobbying the TO for, but we'll talk about that shortly.
I mean, so with this list, right? Like Sam, you're there. You want to have fun. It's a fluffy doubles tournament. So is Corsairs the funnest list that you can possibly run?
Oh, I like the Black Numenorians.
Yeah, cool. I've got a few painted up. Thought I might as well drop them in. Denny, I think it's fair to say that Corsairs is my favourite army in this game, and it's the one that I enjoy playing the most, and the one that I've had famously the most success with. So I'm really looking forward to just having an absolute blinder of a tournament and going 6-0. Yeah.
Blinding Light.
Yeah. Oh, God. In all seriousness, though, I think since we have seen that Curtin list, it has been just like shooting. It's they're laughing. They are laughing all the way to the bank. That's an election year list.
Like I kind of just love it with like Evil's a bit different, but New Zealand meta at these big doubles tournaments. It's like it's a 4-4 board. It's 1,600 points on the board, and they look and they go, you know what? Good shooting. That's what I'm going to do. There's definitely going to be enough time and enough distance to do good shooting. Well. Yeah, with that Christchurch terrain.
Yeah. But this genius has gone one better and said, these idiots, these meta idiots, they know that they're going to keep bringing shooting. Curtin, done, sorted.
I've never seen so many Abracans at a tournament. Is this the second list with them in?
Yeah. Second or third, even. Yeah.
Are they good, just quietly, or are they?
We have a theory that kind of like arrow magnets. That if you're versing someone and then it's like, 5 shots, 2 hits, kill the. Oh, are there any abs in that front row? Kill those first. But they never really get the opportunity to engage in combat because, for whatever reason, people just shoot at them first.
It's weird calling them abs though, because they're kind of the opposite of that, you know.
The flabs.
The flabs, yeah.
Flabrican guard.
Yeah.
They just seem really strong. I get the appeal. I personally like the idea of playing them, but I absolutely agree, Danny, that you're gonna 9 times out. If you're just running forwards with them, then they're going to come a cropper for sure. But in saying that, as a Harrod player, you would hope that most of the time, it's people coming to you, and they haven't got much time to stand back and shoot you.
Unless there's blinding light.
Unless there's blinding light, once again.
It's okay.
Very, very cool. Well, I'm looking forward to playing it with my partner and having a great time. All right. Next up, we have same list. Next up, we have Return of the King. I tried to give this one a crazy name, be all funny and cute, but I couldn't on this occasion. It's a solid list. So Aragorn with Anduril and an Elven Cloak, 6 warriors there with shield, 1 warrior there with shield and spear, and 1 dead rider, and Legolas with an Elven Cloak. On the other side, we have King of the Dead, leading 8 warriors there with shield, 2 warriors of the dead with shield and spear, 2 riders of the dead, and Mighty Gimli. And that's that. 24 troops, 1 throwing axe and 1 bow. The ultimate counter to Sir Curtain. Can't find like this one, can you?
Well, yeah. Look, I think it just does what it says on the tin, doesn't it?
It does.
It does.
I only hope at the end of Sunday, Aragon can hold their oaths fulfilled and
Leave them to it.
I mean, I can't remember if I discussed it, but I want to see this go against Bold and Brash because there's nothing funnier than seeing a 400-point model getting one-shotted by the King of the Dead.
Absolutely.
yeah, that would actually be a great matchup.
It'd be cool. It'd be good fun.
Thematic
It'd be fun to
matchup.
see. It would be
Exactly.
climbing up. I think
Yeah.
I would. I mean, this is about as solid as the King gets. I think as a Legion, I personally would like to see a little more spear action. Personally, I think when you got only 24 models at Fight 3, I'd quite like to have a spear if you can get one. That's just my personal view. Maybe trading a Dead Rider on the second list for some more spears or something. And, but, little tweaks like that. Personally,
I mean, I'd rather see Gimli in pajamas because I just feel like he looks ridiculous there. Everyone else has got their best cloak on, and he's just,
standing
someone like
there,
an absolute scruff. Yeah,
not fit to be seen in the company of 2 kings and a prince. That's for sure.
exactly.
It's disgraceful. Disgraceful.
There is actually kind of a conspicuous lack of spears there, isn't there?
A conspicuous lack of spears. Yeah, that's what I'd say. Certainly.
I mean, maybe they're just going through the painting backlog and, started with the shields.
It looks like there's one for Aragorn and then like one
Two
for the
on the
King of
other
the Dead and one
side.
for Gimli.
Yeah, it's true. Maybe that's the thinking. And in fairness, I mean, if there's anyone you can trust to lose a couple of combats and still be just fine, thank you, it's probably the Warrior of the Dead, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, in Spearless. Oh, wait, no, that's this list. Hey,
Nice.
guy
Probably
hates himself for smiling.
That's it's pretty grim stuff.
It was a pity smile.
Yeah.
Pretty
Was a pretty smile, yeah.
Oh, yeah, nice. You're a terrible
Yeah.
flirt, Denny.
Yeah. Guy baiting. Right.
Return of the King. It's let's be serious on a regular basis. It's not people keeping this profesh. This is 3 incredibly professional gentlemen struggling with this.
I'll message you after this, Denny.
Just don't ghost me. Hey.
There we go. That's the chat we
Oh,
hear
he's
for.
on.
That's the chat
God.
we hear for. All right, I'm going to stop trying to finish my thought and analyze this list. I can see I've lost the room. So late is the hour. If anybody out there in YouTube comments land can tell me why they think this was named late is the hour, a name provided by the players, I'd be very grateful to know, because I'm not quite sure. But nevertheless, this is lots of elves. So we've got Elrond with a horse and heavy armor, 9 high elf warriors, 5 high elf warriors with bow, 1 high elf warrior with a banner, and as you do, Bilbo Baggins with a ring. Next we have Haldir with heavy armor and a bow, leading 7 Galadhrim shield and spear, and 7 Galadhrim shields. And then a wood elf captain, leading 5 wood elves with bows, 3 wood elves with spears, and 3 regular old wood elves, for a total of 44 elf models, 43 elves and 1 hobbit, 9 points of might, I believe, 11 bows, and 1 lone horsey.
Is this like the Winston Peters of the Elvish political parties that we're seeing?
It's trying to pose as a centrist organisation.
But
There's the
just
late
not
is the hour.
Yeah, there we go. It's not as sensible as the other Rivendell list we've seen.
It's certainly not, but it's definitely interesting. I think, in fairness, this one does have the advantage of having 16 more models than the other Rivendell list we saw, which is 16 more elves is not a thing to be sneezed at.
16 and a
coughed at.
half if you count Bilbo.
That's true. That's true. That's true. I mean, it's weird looking at it. I'm kind of like, okay, there's one very, very normal, rational warband in there, and then there's these two other ones which have got me befuddled. But
Yeah, I mean, what's the rational one for you? Is it the Haldir one?
okay, the most rational one is the Haldir one.
Yeah, is
that's
it
pretty
because the
safe.
elves
Yeah.
actually have shields?
And armor, yes.
Yeah.
Spears.
No,
yeah,
but
that
you
kind
could
of
pay
thing.
you could pay 3 points for heavy armor and a shield, or
Or-
you could get an elven cloak. They're of equal value, aren't
I
they?
mean, that's fair. Christchurch, there will be more terrain than board. So,
Very true. Very true. Maybe it's a secret check for Christchurch. I do think in all seriousness, being able to fit 44 elves in is an achievement this person has done genuinely. You've still got Elrond on a horse. You've still got a fair bit of might. You've got Bilbo and a ring bearer, which is not a bad thing. You've got a dozen bows. It's an achievement to fit that many elves in. It genuinely is. That's still a difficulty for anybody to face up against.
Those wood elves are just a bit of a liability, though, aren't they? I think they're going to fade into the west at the earliest possible moment, aren't they?
Look, yes, in short, I don't see a use case for Wood Elves under any circumstances. But hey, look, this person does, and I'm not here to harsh their vibe. I think that's if they hadn't put those Wood Elves, they would have had fewer elves in this list. That's the price they paid for this swarm of elves.
Yeah,
If you
certainly.
can't-
Yeah.
If you can't hide a dozen Wood Elves on a Christchurch board,
something's
what
gone wrong.
what are you
You're playing on
doing?
that. You're playing on that one desert board.
What is it for? Hiding behind cacti. Yeah, it's probably less convincing.
I do love that Bilbo's just chilling there. That's cool.
Yeah, it's cool. And
I mean-
I also, sorry, go on.
No, I'd be interested to have a chat after these games to see, because obviously the plan is right. Elrond goes in as the heavy hitter with Bilbo to have the fight value, but as we all know, Elrond kind of hits like a wet noodle. So I
Yeah.
can't wait to actually hear the post game for their 5
How'd
matches
that
to
go?
see if Elrond actually did kill anything.
Yes.
I've
yes.
always been interested with that, like a Bilbo or a Gollum inclusion, whether the 4-inch movement is like a hindrance or anything. You know what I mean? Because then do you move your
Fast
whole wall band at
Yeah.
that 4 inches? Then?
Yeah. It's definitely an issue on a fast moving army, I think, for sure. It'll make me very nervous about it.
But I suppose this isn't exactly like a move all over the place army, is it anyway?
No.
What do you mean there's a march with the captain? You mocked?
Well, I feel like there's enough bows that you can bring your opponent to you.
Unless it's
potentially.
blinding light.
I mean, you would think there's enough bows being opponent to you, but I think
Yeah,
we've
actually.
seen, actually, from what we've seen so far, 11
on the
bows
lighter end,
is
yeah.
actually not. Even elf bows, like, those Wood Elves of D3,
Yeah, maybe they didn't realize the meta. Maybe
which is heavily
I think
How
any of
could
us
you- how
realised
could
it.
No one realised the meta. It's one thing I will say. The final one thing to say is I'm actually quite keen to see those 9 high elves two-handing, because why not now? Why not? Let's
Yeah.
go. Get some chop going. 5/5 two-hander. That windmill style stuff. Cool.
super stuff.
Nice.
Respect the hustle. Respect the hustle.
Do the hustle.
Here we go. See my
That's
vest.
actually good.
See my vest. Made from real.
I think that it doesn't rhyme. It's just the icing on the cake, isn't
It's the
it?
best
It's
part,
just
eh?
fantastic.
That's the
Yeah.
best part, eh? Yeah. This was an inspired
there-
choice for this team.
There are definitely better parts. We're trying to like figure out like Grizzly Bjorn underwear.
I think keeping it simple was the way to go in this case. I think this is
That's fantastic.
yeah. It's part of the meme. It's deconstructionist. We'll discuss it after. It's okay. It's okay. Right, this one is a Kirith Ungol legendary Legion. Army 1 is Gorbag, leading 5 orcs with shield, 2 orcs with bow, an orc with a banner and a spear, and an orc with a 2-handed weapon. Then we have an orc captain with a shield, leading 5 orcs with shield and 2 orcs with bow. Then an orc captain with nothing, leading 4 orcs with shield, 2 orcs with bow, and 1 orc with a 2-handed weapon. And just because, Shelob. Just to round that side out nicely. Force number 2, we have the Uruk half. Shagrat with his shield. Not out of there, but he does have a shield and heavy armor in his kit. Leading 7 Mordor Uruk-hai with 2-handed maces. 4 Mordor Uruk-hai and 1 Mordor Uruk with banner and shield. And then a Mordor Uruk captain with a shield, leading 7 more Mordor Uruks for two-handed maces and 4 Mordor Uruks for a total of 52 models, 12 asterisk might, and a mere 6 bows. I've never seen, any two-handed maces, let alone 14 of them in one place like this.
I just want
really
to say
like
something
this.
quickly. I know we said we're doing the Sensible Rivendell test with Blinding Light. Now let's flip it. Aura of Dismay. Is there a single courage answer?
That's actually a really good point. That's a really good point.
I'm just putting forward my proposal for the best party that we've seen.
Yeah, that's actually a really depressing accurate point on that. But look, hey, look, there's 12, there's 12 opponents. It's unlikely to come up against each other. And if they do, well, these are the kind of times you need to learn the value of a shaman, I guess, isn't it?
Or just roll sixes.
Roll sixes, baby.
This looks fantastic though, isn't it? It's just super themey.
Oh yeah, it's really
Yeah.
cool. It's really hard to draft something like discussed before with the way that it's 400 points each. It's difficult to draft to accommodate those rules. But just the Carathon Ghoul Legendary Legion is difficult to draft as a single list. But here it actually works. Putting the 2 separate 400 point armies, because usually what happens is you try and make a 700 point and you've kind of got enough for like 3
What I'm
warbands.
envisioning is, because you want to put like an Uruk and an Orc into the same combat. I'm imagining there's going to be a lot of arguments over I get to roll these dice, or one person's going to insist on rolling each dice individually, sort of type thing. I think they should, yeah.
Really themey. I love it.
Is it themey play to be squabbling the whole time? I think so.
I think so. Oh, let's give them 1 Games Workshop dice for the entire tournament, and they can fight over that the entire time.
I'm stoked to see the strength 4 Uruks with 2-handed weapons +1 to wound, +1 to wound. I'm very keen to see these guys hitting strength 8.
Are these the Uruks with ambush, Sam? Because if not, I think you should check the group, check the lobby to see if ambush is allowed.
Ambush is allowed. Wow, Jenny, what an incredible segue into a revelation that we have a mystery
Seamless.
special guest joining us tonight. When I press this button, they will join us.
Oh, mystery.
From afar. Who could this be? Oh, look, it's George Costello. Say hi, George.
G'day, guys. How we doing?
We're doing great. It's lovely to see you. Where are you calling in from?
I'm actually on infamous K Road in Auckland. I've just taken a break from the BYO I've been at. I've just had a lovely bottle of sparkling Moscato.
A bottle?
and you've joined us for a surprise visit.
Yeah, I thought I'd just sort of Goblin Merc ambush my way in here.
Already made the joke.
Oh, well, I came up with the joke. So anyway, I want to give Sam credit for this list name I'm seeing here.
Oh, thank you, George. I was hiding my light under a bushel, but thank you for giving me the credit that I deserve for coming up with this name. Thank you. I really appreciate it. It was me, guys. It was me, everyone. It was me.
Have we commented on this list? Is this
briefly? We'd love to hear your thoughts, though.
All right, let me sort of get one blurry eye up into this.
Just get everything off your real gorilla chest.
Is that a naked 40-point Orc captain I'm seeing?
It is, yes.
That's outrageous.
It's intrepid, isn't it? Yeah.
I think what's sort of undervalued here is we give a lot of props to the Legolas and Gimlis of the world, but side by side with a friend can go either way. And we see a Shagrat and a Gorback here, and they've got a full redemption arc ready for this tournament.
What's the redemption arc?
I really
get back
like
together.
They've leaned into the Gorback with a bunch of Orcs and the Shagrat with a bunch of Mordor Orca.
It's the ultimate theme in a doubles list, isn't it, really?
I mean, I feel like George is drunk enough here to tell the truth. So let's finally ask him the question. Is Shelob good, George?
In the hands of anyone except top tier gamers, absolutely not. I cannot for the life of me use that profile. She has just died every single time I've chucked her in on the flank. Maybe the trick is you don't. Who actually knows? Like, I don't know who knows the answer to that one.
I don't think you can exclude yourself from the ranks of top tier players, George.
That's false modesty right there. Right?
Yeah. He knew as well when he threw it out there. He was fishing. It was a fish.
100% it is.
It was
Has anyone
shameless.
has anyone dared to use a Shelob without a Fullerton banner in range? That's my question. That's a bold move.
Just
I
fair
think-
walk. You're away laughing. She's indestructible.
I think you need to be silly in there just to get her kicking, get her firing. That extra roll to win the combat. However, it is in the Legion. I think that is playing Shelob slightly on easy mode. But do not get me wrong, easy mode for this list is not easy mode. It's still ridiculously hard. I would like to readdress the 40-point naked orc captain for a few reasons though. Number one, who actually knew an orc captain was 40 points? That's outrageous. That's
What
such good
value?
value.
Okay, I was going to say that is quite good value. Yeah,
Mm.
I think you had to sledge the Orc Captain.
No, 9 times out of 10, I would have put that profile at 45 points. She's coming in at a sweet 40 though.
That's
Oh, no,
more
I'm
points for
sorry.
two-hand weapons.
Just having to evade a sort of someone coming at me.
Do you
I
have to
reckon it's-
pay?
I think George is the craziest person on K Road at the moment.
Yeah.
Nah, I can assure you that is not the case. Absolutely assure you that's not the case.
It's really nice to have video evidence of you being murdered in real time in the main streets. It's going to make the court case so much
I
more
mean-
straightforward. Eh?
How can we tell who's crazy and who's not?
It's actually your guys' fault for recording in the middle of a Saturday night. It's 11 p.m. on a Saturday night. I don't know what else you want from me here.
The narrator's like, but it was not Saturday night. It was Tuesday morning.
It's about 8 o'clock on a Tuesday, folks. But that's all right. That's okay, George. It's the hospital life, isn't it? It's just
It's awesome. It's actually 11
Man of
p.m. on a
leisure.
Saturday night on a thriving K Road that's full of people, as you can see. It's absolutely just going off.
It's a vibrant city.
Yeah.
the super city.
If
I've
you-
heard it described as.
I really apologize for the list of who this is, but if you want to jump to the next one, I'll give a quick 10-second get in, and then I'll get back to my group.
All right. Here we go. This one's called Pulling Teeth.
It's our last one.
Very briefly, we've got an Undying on Fell
Oh.
Beast, Camul on a Fell Beast, a Dark Marshal on a Fell Beast, a Witch King with 316-3 on Crown on a Fell Beast, with a Morgul Knight, a Warg Rider, and an Orc Captain on a Warg.
Should I get a live take from a patron of K Road?
Go on, yes. Yeah, we'd love to
Yeah, I
hear.
think so.
We'd love to hear a
All
Dennison's
right,
view.
all right. The next passerby, I'll get a live take on
The man
what
on the
their
street.
thoughts are on this one. Interesting. The Dark Marshal. I'd like to point out that something is a rule I've discovered recently is that it only applies to warrior troops. So not sure, but here we are.
I think if memory serves, this was actually amended very late in the piece. This Dark Marshal, because it was discovered. So that's my bad for not dating. I think it was going to be
Look,
the Tainted. Is that right? Instead,
Not Shadowwolf?
Jenny, can you confirm?
I'd
I
like
just
to
want to
make the case.
clarify, Jenny. Like, I've not seen the previous list. I imagine there's no shootings, and we no shooting, and we haven't been punished for not taking Shadow Lord.
that's
Yes.
broadly accurate. Yeah.
There's been maybe like one sort of, I don't know what the word is, sort of staple Elven list or sensible Elven list, and maybe that's the only shooting we have to deal with.
Yeah, that's fair to say, isn't
Yeah,
it? Guy, would you
that-
agree? There's not been
that-
much shooting on
that's
this
fair.
tournament.
Beautiful. All right. Well, I'm going to leave you guys to it. I'm going to get back to my sweet and sour pork, and I hope you guys have an amazing rest of your night.
Hey, thank you. You too. Have a great
Thanks,
Saturday,
George.
George.
Love you
work.
all. Goodbye.
See ya.
Right, let's edit him in post. Okay.
What a
Um,
character. What a
I
I,
think
character.
it's
I
pretty
want
good.
Guy's thoughts on this list.
You
I
wouldn't
want
think so,
Guy's
yeah.
Look,
thoughts.
I'd like to come in swinging for the Dark Marshal, actually, as inclusion. If you're all captain, if he gets killed, your war gets to do a courage test. If he sticks around, you can then benefit from the Dark Marshal's banner effect.
And you've got a wide rider over there as well, don't forget. And a Morgul Knight. It's a possible 4 models in total that can benefit from that Dark Marshal banner.
I mean,
Yeah, I
obviously, they've just gone for the fight 6, and that's it. They're going, you know, I don't need any other benefit, just the fight 6. That's it.
Incredible value. Crushing captains left and right.
Doesn't matter
to-
if you've got an arm tied behind your back when you're rolling dice, does it? Really?
mean, to George's point, you'd be pretty unhappy taking this list to this tournament, just considering how much shooting there is and how much Fight 5 we've seen.
You would be quite unhappy. You'd feel like
you'd
a
be
fool, I think,
very
wouldn't you?
unhappy.
You'd feel like
You'd
a
be
fool when the
wincing,
average
yeah.
number of bows is 20 odd on a list with all this Herod.
So this is a George and Denny special, is it?
This is our list. We've decided why play
Wow.
the objective game when we can play our own game.
You've certainly set yourselves a challenge.
Can I go through briefly through the lineage of this list? So I think I said to George and Jenny, I'll meet you at 2 o'clock or so to record this. Have your list confirmed into me by then.
As you were
We
with
met-
family, and it
as I
was
was with
important
family
that
away
we
on
leave.
holiday. Get it done quickly, yes. So we met just after 2 o'clock online, and after I genuinely think no fewer than 8 lists were written and discarded of every conceivable army type and combination in Legendary Legion. I walked out of the room and I said, I'm coming back in 10 minutes and there needs to be a list written. And so I came back in 10 minutes and there still wasn't a list written. But after 45 minutes more of the conversation and argument, we eventually got to just play something fun. Just pick anything randomly. And
So that's not fair. We did have a list written. We had our Mirkwood Legendary Legion Tariel Legolas list, to which Sam laughed in our face, called it a cry for help, asked if we're even playing the game anymore. You guys should just quit. What are you doing? And we felt so embarrassed. Like a child who's given their parents like a lovely macaroni card or something and just getting it put in the trash.
the thing about Rangers
So we
is
panicked.
at
Sam's still got
400
that list pinned to his fridge. I think.
They went straight in the trash as soon as they did their backstop. At 400 points, the problem with Rangers is you get Legolas and 18 odd or 15 odd troops, and Turiel 15 odd troops. Then you got 100 points left at the end of each list, and so there were genuinely 2 Wood Elf captains, like a Wood Elf captain in each half of this list, which is just depressing thought. So we ended up with instead this aptly named Pulling Teeth list. That's what it was like to actually get it written. It was still written wrong in the end because someone didn't read the rules for a key hero and amended after the fact. But we got something on paper, and I think it'll be great fun for you guys to play, and even better fun for your opponents who will finally get a chance to just completely table the great Jenny and George repeatedly.
Yeah, no, it's looking pretty dire, to be honest. We're hoping the Orc captain puts in work, because I think that's going to be the only thing which lets us survive or not. Is if that Orc captain is still around and we've got some might to play with,
He's
we
the
might
power
be
player
able to
for
go
sure.
from a crushing to a major loss.
He's the power player.
Imagine pinning your hopes to an Orc captain.
A humble 40-point Orc captain.
He's on a wag, and he's got a shield, and he's got a bow. So
No
Is
wonder
that a
George came
tactic or
swinging
just
out,
'cause we had
swinging
5
with the
points?
value.
Yeah.
wait, does he actually have a shield and a bow?
Yeah, he does, because we had 5 points left over. And we thought, who needs the defense buff of D6 when we can make him D5 and give him a bow he's not going to use? So
It's
arguably
good
we should have
because
just
you can't shield on Warg either, so that's great.
Literally, wait. Oh my god!
So it's a peculiar choice.
This is the saddest thing I've seen. This is the end of an era, folks. You're watching the end of the 2 greatest players in
The
New Zealand.
revolution
quite
will not be
possibly.
broadcast.
If you guys
It's,
win this tournament, I'm quitting this game. I think that's all there.
Guys had a rough year in the tournament scene. You don't need this is
You
I
know,
don't
rough
need
for
this.
them.
I don't need
this
this
one
shit.
Morgul Knight's just gonna just do it. Just do it.
How do you
I'm
feel,
gonna
guys?
paint it up so nicely that everyone's gonna feel so bad for us when they see the list, and they're gonna have such pity they're not gonna want to kill it. They're gonna go, oh, it's nicely painted. You know what? You can keep it there for a
No
couple
one's
of
going to
years.
see
Which-
4 fell beasts and feel bad for you.
They're
There's no
going to
way.
see 4 fell beasts and they're going to say, right, we're taking the Morgan Knight out first. That's our top priority to end this.
We're going.
I'm not going to go for the Orc captain though because he's a powerhouse.
He's got D5, so it's pretty hard to get through that.
Luckily,
we
you
go
can just
for,
you can hover him in the
sportsman
back and he
scores.
can just snipe stuff.
Yeah, exactly. He's got 2 might to use because he's not using it for anything.
And
Yeah.
8 inch range, don't forget. So that's plenty of distance there.
When you think about it, with the might, he pretty much hits on a 4-up. You can just use that point of might to hit.
There we go. No, and yeah, I mean,
At least to be easy to get in the
So-
way
so-
of your fell beast, though, right?
to
Doesn't
make an
any
argument
sense.
for why it's a good list, just so I can make an argument for why it's a good list. Like with the FAQs coming out, everyone's going, "Oh God!" Now all the front row of shields, back row of spears, they're nothing. They're useless. Who cares about that? because you can just shoot straight into the foul beast. So now we're just like, you know what? The
It's
trips aren't
liberating.
necessary. Yeah.
It's liberating, eh?
We don't have
You're
to
free.
spend. We don't have to spend 600 points on 60 models to actually make it a decent list. We can just get rid of that and go, you know what? You get a foul beast, and you get a foul beast, and you get a foul beast,
Was the strat here to drop
and you get
the
a bow.
Morgul- If you drop the Morgul Knight and the Warg Rider, say, you can put that second foul beast on an armored foul beast instead, and he can body block the other three with that indestructible armored foul beast. I think you missed a trick here.
Yeah, I'm surprised you haven't bought the Fell Beast upgrades, to be honest.
Mm.
Yeah, no, George just thought that was just too embarrassing. So
What about the man on the street in K Road? What does he?
I was going to say,
I think that was
Anyway.
just George. I think that was just George.
George wouldn't embarrass himself, would he? George wouldn't embarrass himself at a forum like that. So that would be like George.
You know, so George is going through his mid-game crisis, and he's taking me down with him with this list. So I'll be looking for new team members, teammates for next year.
Guy, I wonder how you feel like your list, because we've seen your list, which is the beautiful Might is Right list. I wonder how do you feel that would go against the pulling teeth?
Oh, goodness, I can't say I know my list that well.
You don't need to, right? Like is it not Treb? It's a bolt thrower. It's going to kill two of these foul beasts in one turn.
I feel pretty confident against the Witch King because I've got a child. You know, no man can kill the Witch King, but I think
This
the
is
child
true.
can potentially. Yeah.
Hmm.
No, I think it'll be good. I mean, possibly might be able to outmight you. I don't know. What does my list do again? It's just got Elisar, doesn't it? Elisar and gambling.
Elisar and Helith and gambling and a lot of might. Yes.
Oh yeah.
How
No, it
much
just
will?
seems-
That's the
it's
more
just
important question.
it's just a good death ball. I mean, I guess we fear the hurls, the constant hurls from you. Do we even
Give us
answer
more
the courage?
tactics. Go. Keep going. Keep going.
I don't know. What are you going to do? I mean, I guess you just try and
Yes.
harry around the edges.
So what's
Yeah.
actually going to happen, I should apologize to our opponents in advance, is George and I are going to get into a deep-seated conversation around which spell every Wraith should be using. And then eventually, after about 20 minutes of conversation, we're going to go, you know what, for sake of argument, this one can do the Black Dart, this one can do the Transfix, this one can do the Compel, and this one can do the Instill Fear, and we'll see which one was better.
Oh, lucky you can hover at 12 inches away just without fear of being shot against most lists and just spend as long as you want firing
You wait,
spells.
that March will come in clutch. You wait.
You just wait.
It's gonna be a sight to see. It's gonna be a real sight to see. I'm very much looking forward to seeing this against 40 odd throwing spears. That's
Yeah.
or you know, I don't know. What have I got, like 30 bows or something, 30 throwing weapons?
Yeah, and I'm very happy to make
I
table
think-
12 my
I
home
think
for
as
the,
long
for
as
the
you-
weekend.
As long as the Fell Beasts don't get pinned down, they can still do some work. Don't they? They've
Yeah.
got D8 on the riders. I mean,
Yeah,
you
unless
should
we're
be-
versing 6 fight 5 armies.
Can you, if you're in combat now, so say hypothetically I had an evil army with an enormous amount of throwing weapons. If you're in combat with your flying fell beast as of the
I think you still do the in the way.
you still do.
Yeah.
You sure about that? I'm going to challenge that with the TR on every opportunity I get, because if I can get some no in the way, 30 no in the way throwing weapons on a fell beast, I'm going to do that.
That should say Shadow Lord, not Dark Marshal.
Nah, too late.
I think that's your right, Sam.
Thank you, guy. Right. Well, it's been an experience. This has been a more hair-raising review than we've often provided, or maybe it hasn't been. Maybe this is about the average level of professionalism and polish you expect from us at this point. That's quite possible too. I want to thank Guy for coming along and filling in last minute for us as a ring-in. I want to thank Denny for being old reliable and coming along every time. I want to thank George for leaving quickly after he came in the second time.
That's my doubles partner, everyone. That's my doubles partner.
Yeah.
I want you all to, everyone watching this, that's the best player in the country. He's crushed everyone watching this. And that's it's Barney Gumble, isn't he? He's just really good at
I
one
think
thing.
everyone at home is sort of hoping that George enjoys his sweet and sour pork. I guess that would be my takeaway.
His will be
Chinese
sweet and
meal.
sour pork, won't it?
Yeah, it will be his takeaway. Yeah.
And with that, I think we're done.
I think that's a great way to end it. Thank you all very much. And thank you out there in YouTube land. See you in a few days.